Skeletons are the coolest. So because it's October and spooky, I'm going to cover some of my favorite skeletons ever to appear in video games. There's no rhyme or reason to this list because every skeleton is the best skeleton. As you probably already know, skeletons are everywhere in games. They're the go-to for supernatural enemies and can appear anywhere from minor villain fodder to full-on bosses. You've got the basic skeleton enemies, the skeleton versions of other common enemies, and sometimes instances of skeletons appearing in short damage animations. Let's talk some of the best gaming skeletons. So there's something special about presentation, and starting an adventure game like Golden Axe and immediately seeing a massive skeleton holding the selectable players lets you know it's going to be a good time. Early on in Goemon's Great Adventure on the N64, you have the opportunity to battle a giant skeleton that can breathe fire, which is something we may see again in this list. Hell, even Paperboy runs into some skeleton troubles. In the NES gem Sweet Home, skeletons act as enemies and clues. I love how the characters just respond to this. A skeleton! The NES in general has a lot of great skeletons. In Ducktales, Scrooge McDuck finds himself taking on skeletal ducks, which is more cute than scary. What's better than fighting a skeleton? Getting to play as one, which is exactly what you get to do when using Mario's skeleton outfit from Super Mario Odyssey. This surprisingly macabre outfit from Nintendo may be the darkest in-game official interpretation of Mario yet. But if you really want to play as a skeleton, you've got some other really great options. Head over to the Mutant League series and play as the Midway Monsters, led by team captain and two-sport star, Bones Jackson. The chaos and destruction can be a ton of fun. Sometimes it's more fun to use your skeleton abilities to straight out maim enemies, so look no further than Killer Instinct's Spinal. This skeleton warrior has carved a name for himself as one of Killer Instinct's most recognizable characters. But arguably an even more iconic fighting character skeleton can be found in Mortal Kombat's Scorpion. But TEEJHERO, Scorpion's a ninja, not a skeleton. Calm down, my friends. All you have to do is hit a gorgeous fatality to see what's under the mask. Bonus points for the skeleton of the incinerated enemy, too. But we all know the real most lethal fighting game skeleton is Skullomania. Isn't it fun to play as characters and see their skeletons? While you don't exactly see this character's skeleton, Cubone stands out as a bone-wielding Pokemon wearing the skull of its dead mother. Some games let you see the skeletons of characters when electrocuted, but games from the Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts series take it even further with seeing main protagonist Arthur getting so brutalized, only his skeleton is left. There are some occasions of heroic skeletons getting some love. Take a look at Sir Daniel Fortesque from the Medieval series, a character I'll cover more in a different skeleton video if the remaster for the PS4 ever comes. One awesome good guy skeleton is the Hero's Shade from Twilight Princess. Implied to be the late great hero from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, Link must have taken some fashion tips and inspiration from Ego Stuikana and his henchmen after facing off against them. And to be honest, I could make a whole skeleton video just using Zelda characters, but that wouldn't be fair to the other spooky scary friends in games. While kind of a dick, Mumbo has a skeleton head, and that's good enough for me. He's a good friend and is always ready to help Bear and Bird. Plus, he likes his Tigo bitties. However, there isn't a better skeleton friend than Undertale's Papyrus. This kooky but cool character is a riot, and his fans would probably be very disappointed if I didn't mention him. He's a pretty cool dude. Now, the main focus skeletons get in most games are as enemies, even more so as bosses. While the Castlevania series has a lot of skeletons, they pale in comparison to the big bad Grim Reaper. Essentially a mascot for death, hence his name, the Grim Reaper in Castlevania games is always there to offer a challenge. In Donkey Kong Country 3, after taking out Chaos, King K. Rool reveals himself as the true villain under the alias of Dr. Baron K. Rulenstein. The only way to take this guy down is to smash him with barrels, which makes him fall and get electrocuted by his own technology. Why is this included? Because of the awesome K. Rool skeleton we see when he's zapped. Mega Man 4 is home to a kick-ass robot master under the name of Skullman. His whole stage is skull-themed, and his appearance is great. While some might argue that he is not technically a real skeleton, I don't discriminate, and I'm completely open to robotic skeletons being appreciated. Besides, Skullman is one of the coolest robot masters in Mega Man, period. Sticking to robotic skeletons, Contra 3 on the Super Nintendo has a robotic skeleton duo to take out, which is a pleasant thing to see. But it really picks up after their death when a giant robotic skeleton crashes through the wall and tries to murder. What an awesome design and moment. Fun fact, this guy's name is Great Awakening Robo Big Fuzz, and I have absolutely no idea why. Thinking of skeleton bosses, the most difficult I can think of is definitely Sans from Undertale. While this guy can be your friend like the previously mentioned Papyrus, if the player takes the genocide route in the game, Sans meets you as the final boss and throws everything at the player. It definitely takes a bit to get the patterns down to even stand a chance. It's a very unique and challenging battle that makes for an awesome skeleton fight. Living skeletons overall are a treat in games, especially when it's you that sent whoever or whatever that character was to its grave. In Banjo-Tooie, Gruntilda is brought back as an undead skeletal version of herself. Ready to immediately make her mark, she causes one of the saddest deaths in video game history by murdering our friend Bottles. Look at that skeletal design though. Have a happy Halloween, everyone.